Hello everybody, welcome to Your Capital, What's Up? I'm Chuck Wiger, thank you very much for watching. Today I'm very pleased to have Becky Meyer from Oakdale. Becky is the director, the principal for the Academy for Science and Agriculture High School. I think I got the title of the high school right.
You did, thank you.
It's in Vadnais Heights, and it's a wonderful school, and it was started in part by efforts at the legislature over a decade or so ago. And we're going to talk about your efforts at the school. Several area students attend school there and are on to greater things, as well as throughout the whole metro area you have people, and it's for a very specialized study. And we're pleased that you're in Oakdale as well and involved in other activities. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about the Academy and some of the challenges, and also not only your role as director principal, but you're involved at the state level as a leader, as well as national issues, and so we'll talk about that. But first we want to get to know Becky a little more. So tell us, where were you born and raised?
Well, I grew up in Menominee, Wisconsin on a dairy farm, and so part of why I'm involved in the school is that I was a farm girl, became an ag teacher.
Okay, growing up, farm girl.
Farm girl.
What was some of your favorite chores?
Well, I really liked working with animals. We had a dairy farm, and so it was my job during high school to get up and milk the cows in the morning, and then I did the chores in the afternoon. My older
Before
brother,
high school, did you have any chores?
Yes, I would milk the cows in the morning and go to school, and then I would milk the cows.
What time would you get up in the morning?
Well, school started at 8-ish, and it took about an hour and a half to milk the cows. So I know I was probably up at 5-ish through my high school years. Probably started that when I was 14. Okay. My brother was better with the machinery and the fields, so he did that, and I was better with the animals, so I did the cow part.
Okay, so you know all about work ethic.
Yeah, I think, and I was in the FFA in high school. Was the first girl in my FFA
and for
chapter.
our members that, our viewers that may not know, FFA?
FFA used to be called Future Farmers of America, and it is now the National FFA organization, but it helps students develop work ethic and career skills in agriculture and science. Okay,
so you're growing up in Menominee. Siblings? You had a brother, you mentioned?
Yep, I have a family of 6, 2 brothers, 3 sisters. My mom still lives on the home farm.
Okay.
And my brother lives in the area, and they rent out the farmland at this point, but yes.
Okay, and favorite activity, or one of your favorite activities before you graduated high school?
Well, I did a lot of FFA contests, a lot of judging type of contests. I was in 4-H and showed a lot of animals at the fair.
So you got some ribbons?
Yes.
Okay.
Some trophies, some ribbons.
Okay. What animal would you like to pay tribute to?
Duroc hogs, actually. I had the best growth on Durocs and had a really good sale price at the animal auction in my junior year, and so that was my favorite thing to show at the fair was hogs.
Okay, tell us about getting ready for that.
Well, hogs are amazingly smart, and then there's no real training exactly, but with hogs, they're smart enough that you can just kind of guide them around the ring. And so really the trick with hogs is to make sure that they know who you are so they're not surprised. Okay. Because they're very strong, and they can get out of just about anything. So if they want to leave the pen, they're going to figure it out. So really the hog has to know that you're there, and you just guide it around and make sure to keep the good side towards the judge.
Okay, and there's no fear. You were very comfortable and with the hog.
Absolutely. You know, I grew up around animals. We raised hogs, chickens, beef, dairy cattle. I was always around the animals, always loved working with the animals. I really thought all during high school that I would become a farmer, and that was my goal in life, is to be a dairy farmer.
Okay. Well, you graduated high school.
I did.
What's next?
Well, I went to college because my dad was kind of old-fashioned, and girls don't farm. And I love him dearly, but you know, that's how dads were. And so I had to go to college, and I was supposed to be an elementary teacher because that's what girls were supposed to do at the time.
Where'd you go to school?
River Falls, University of Wisconsin, River Falls, which has a great elementary ed program.
Yes,
but
it does.
It also has a fabulous agricultural education program.
Yes.
And so I moved from elementary ed into agriculture ed and never looked back.
Okay. And after graduating?
Well, a number of things. I did raise my children I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, and they were little when I graduated from college.
Are you living in Wisconsin yet?
Still in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then
So raising 3 children, and what are you doing for work?
Well, at the time I did some daycare, and then moved into a position with the local police department for a little while, and then I went back to school to finish up teaching degree, and took a job in California. So I moved to outside of Bakersfield, California, and taught at Arvin High School for 2 years and taught science and agriculture there. And we had a 40-acre school farm, and an orchard, and a greenhouse, and quite a fabulous program. And so I really loved being in California for a couple of years. And then moved back to Wisconsin and taught in Elk Mound, Wisconsin, a more traditional, more familiar type of a program in rural Wisconsin, and was there for several years. And then I took a job with the National FFA organization, again, used to be Future Farmers of America, and I worked on programming with them for 4 years in Indianapolis. And at that position, I really worked on the national level with students who were in FFA, helped them develop career skills, managed some of the competitive events that students were involved in, and some of the community service events for the National FFA organization.
We might just mention the incredible impact of agriculture on our economy, not nationally, but just in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, nationally it's nearly 20%, and in Minnesota it's about the same average, but there are certain counties in Minnesota where it's up to 50% of the income is based on agriculture. And from the perspective, a lot of people think agriculture means farming or raising hogs, which is, one of the things that happens. But agriculture is more than farming. It's plant science, it's animal science, it's food technologies, it's engineering, and it's environmental science.
It's high tech.
It's high tech. It's business, it's industry, it's computers.
How do the discussions go with Dad when you talk about the high tech applications, and as the female that was not programmed by Dad to go into this field?
He came to really respect and love that aspect of it. When I was teaching in California, he came out several times to visit and would tour the school farm. He always came to my banquets when we were in Wisconsin, the FFA annual banquets and awards. He was very supportive, and just kind of was always like, I always knew you could do it kind of thing. So
all right. So you're working in Wisconsin, the 3 children, and eventually you're going to be in Vadnais Heights at the charter school, and you're moving to Oakdale. So connect the dots, how you came to Oakdale.
When I was in Indianapolis, there was a conference, and some folks from Minnesota were there, and I was running kind of the Midwest section of that conference. And in that conference, there was 4 or 5 people from Minnesota agriculture that knew me from my work with the FFA and knew I was working on my master's degree at Purdue in educational administration. And they said, Becky, we've got this little charter school that needs an administrator. I really think you should look into it. And they dug around and found a card and handed it to me of the current, or the previous assistant director that was there.
This is in the early 2000s, and which the legislature had approved this new science and agriculture high school, based on the need to prepare students with this specialized background. So you're recruited at a conference.
I was recruited, so I gave a call, came up and visited.
Had you been to Minnesota much before?
I grew up in western Wisconsin, so I'd been to the Twin Cities a lot. And,
Did you like it?
Felt like home. The climate's the same as home. I was ready to move back from Indiana. I had 4 really good years in Indianapolis working there and had a lovely time, but my heart was in teaching and more direct contact with students rather than an overview from the national level. So I really thought this would be a great opportunity. So I came up, took a look at the school, met with the board of directors, and found out the school had been started really because of all of the agricultural industry that's in Minnesota. They're looking for a pipeline so that urban and suburban students understand that there are jobs. Because often we talk about there's no jobs out there, but in reality, jobs for college graduates in agriculture and science, usually there's 3 jobs for every 2 qualified candidates from college. So the school was kind of to help the metro area community become ag literate, as it were, to know that there are jobs out there. So part of our mission is to make sure that students in the 7 to 9 county metro area know about all of the jobs. So we work with companies like Cargill, CHS, Land O'Lakes, General Mills, Ag Star, and some of those to help kind of bring in their professionals to our students and get our students aware of the jobs that are in the community.
Okay. So obviously you interviewed, you accepted the job at the Academy, and which is located in Badens Heights, and we encourage viewers to look at the website or to visit.
Sure, absolutely. We like
to do
tours.
it. But you moved to Oakdale. Share why Oakdale?
Well, I was new to the cities, and I had lived in Washington County and was looking around for homes. I really liked the small town part about Oakdale. Safety. It has lots of nice little neighborhood communities.
Yes.
And I'm a country girl, and it's kind of on the edge of the cities, outside of the 694 ring, so that worked for me. And fell in love with the little house that I have in Oakdale, and have been very happy there as far as neighborhood and the mix of cultural and diversity of the neighborhood people that are there and the services that are available in Oakdale. Just, it's all right there.
Wonderful. And so you're now the director and the principal of the Academy for Science and Agriculture, and it's a charter school. It's a public school, but tell us, by being a charter school, what the distinction is?
Charter schools are public schools that have been, for the most part, formed for a specific niche or reason.
Yes.
And in charter school law, charter schools are supposed to be innovative in an area, and for us, our innovation is our concentration on the science and agriculture. Other schools might concentrate on a certain type of curriculum or a foreign language. But for charters, we have most of the same educational regulations, but we are allowed some leeway as far as some of the curriculum and planning pieces so that we can do some of these innovative curriculum ideas. And for us, we have a number of different things around agriculture that our students can get involved in.
Okay. Now the campus, paint a picture of the campus, and you can share. It's 7th through 12th grade.
Yep.
But share that. It's a beautiful location. I've been out there. And
well, our building was built specifically for our school in 2005. We are on about 4.5 acres right across from Lake Vadnais. So we have woods on 2 sides of us, and right across the road is the lake. And from several of our windows, you can just view the lake, and so that's very peaceful in the morning. Supposedly, there's a 10-point buck right across the road from us inside the waterworks fence line, so a lot of the students like looking for that.
Okay.
But our campus, we have about a 44,000 square foot building, a small gym. We have 10 traditional classrooms, 4 specialized science labs, an industrial technology area where we have small engines, metalworking, and construction classes. And then we have a 40 by 40 foot greenhouse with a hydroponics system in there.
Very impressive greenhouse. I enjoyed that, and the hands-on experience that the students. It's not just them observing; they're actively involved in the.
That's part of our goal, is to really have a lot of projects or hands-on learning experiences in every classroom. More so in the science and agriculture, because those are a lot of applied and critical thinking skills. But really concentrate on getting the kids active in their learning process.
Okay. So students, they apply to attend the school, or what's the process for wanting to attend? Because you draw from beyond Badnais Heights, you get people from many different communities, but the common denominator would be a focus on that science or agriculture mission.
Yes. A lot of our students will really be focused on science or agriculture, a lot of environmental ed, students who might think about being a DNR agent, a lot of students who might want to be a veterinarian, various careers like that. Although if you want to be a music teacher, you can still get a high school diploma and go on into whatever college, because we are a college prep school. And students apply, which is a little bit of a misnomer, because charter schools can't select their students off of the application. It's just if we have a space, we accept the students. So they fill out an application, but basically if there's room, they're accepted. Okay.
And how is it going overall for the growth of the school? There's so many challenges in public education, as you know, with the funding, and we read about it all the time, and with charter schools as well, and some have sunk, but others have done well. But so how's it going?
It's going pretty well. This is our 11th year and my 10th year with the school. And we added 7th and 8th grader just this last fall, and that added another 50 students. And so it's been pretty seamless adding those extra students in the building. It's really nice to have a 7-12 community. Our older students are good mentors for our younger students, and students can look up to them and see where they're going, and that helps with some of the career focus. Yes, it's challenging in public education. Holdback situations and the overall state economic system is difficult, but no more so for charter schools than any other school. I think there's all budget cutting all the way around. But we're pretty stable from that perspective. We have a good balance of students. We've got a lot of returning staff members from year to year, so it helps with the continuity of the program.
Have you tracked the graduates, with all the graduating classes that you've had, to see, well, how are we doing on that mission and the graduates who are now out in the economic workforce?
Yep. Every year our graduation rate is over 90%, as high as 94%. And then of those, depending on the year, and again, we graduate about 50 students average per year. And of those 50, from 74 to 91% of them go on to post-secondary training. And so that's a pretty good number. And then out of the ones that do go on to post-secondary training, about 33% are going into an ag-related field, science or agriculture, which from a typical high school, less than 5% go on into agriculture. So we have students going into careers like agricultural education that before they came to our school, they had no idea that there was any such job.
Yeah. And remind people again, there are many jobs out there. And that's a key part of that educational journey, is to prepare you not only be a good citizen, but for a job.
Yep.
And hopefully a living wage, and if it can be one's passion, even more power to them.
Yes.
Do you see growth in the future, or what does it look like as you look ahead 3 to 5 years?
Well, growth for our school would mean that we'd be a total of about 300 students, and we're intending to stay at 300 students in that building, because 300 is kind of the number where you can everyone can know everyone. And so not only are we doing agricultural education and science and everything with our students, but we're also trying to build community. So we do a lot of activities so the students all get to know each other, work as teams, plan together, do projects together, so that there are no strangers in our building.
Okay. And now in the traditional high school, there may be a variety of extracurricular activities, including sports. Or what would be the difference at your school, which is more focused, but with fewer students? How do you balance that with maybe some of the competitive interests that the students might want to have as well?
Well, I think my staff does a really darn good job of that. For the small schools that we have and the small staff size, we have sports every season. In winter, we have basketball for boys and girls and Nordic skiing for boys and girls. So we don't have as big a selection of sports, but we always have sports. We also have a number of competitive events through the FFA. There are literally hundreds of competitive areas through that competition, so it allows us to do local, regional, state, national, and even some international things. We have drama, we have music, we have a choir, we have band. We have a gamers group, which they play Magic. We have a speech and debate. So pretty much if a student group has an idea of something they want to do, we find a staff member to supervise it, and they can go ahead.
You're as responsive as your student body is asking, to the extent that you can.
Yes.
And you mentioned Cargill, other businesses, employers that are involved. How do they look at your progress at this point?
Well, we've been really lucky that we've always had good business and industry support, because partly they were at the table when the school formed. So we have had someone from Cargill on our school board, and currently do too, and we've always had someone from General Mills on our school board. We also have someone from the University of Minnesota on our school board as our community members. So they're invaluable in their support and their knowledge on how to run boards and how to run organizations and strategic planning, so that's been really good for the school.
And they're going to tell you if they don't sense there's a return on their investment. So
yes. We do get financial support from some of those companies also, which is always welcome, but I think the more important piece is the advice and the support from an academic and intellectual standpoint, and helping mentor our students toward careers.
Okay. And we did mention charter schools are public schools. They're structured differently, but the financing, if you want to distinguish that, there's still the public financing that you do get, but it's not quite as much.
Yep, it's a little bit less per pupil, because charter schools don't have school district boundaries, for example, and we don't have levy authority. So there are some differences in the categories of aid that we get. So we do get some dollars each year from corporates and grants and donations.
Okay, good. Well, I encourage our viewers to check the school out, to contact you if they'd like to learn more information. And in addition to the academy, you are involved at the state level and national level. I believe you're on the board of directors for the charter schools in Minnesota?
I'm just immediate past president of the Minnesota Association of Charter Schools board. I also serve currently on the University of Minnesota's College in the Schools Advisory Committee. And
colleges in the schools, that is such a great concept of earning college credit in the high schools.
Yes.
And especially for those students that need more, an additional challenge, getting them ready for the objective, college career ready.
I think it's really important that the college in the schools or PSEO options remain, and I know there's always some issues around the funding of those pieces, but we have seen a number of students take those classes and be successful, and then they start believing that they can be successful in college because we still have a lot of students who are first-generation college students, and if their family hasn't been involved in college education, they don't really know what that is. And so once they take a class, earn 4 credits, then all of a sudden it's like, that's not such a far-off dream that I might graduate from college. So it really helps a lot of students.
Okay. And I'm curious, have any of your 3 children, adults now, have they entered a similar calling as you?
Well, my daughter is actually in education at the University of Minnesota. She'll graduate next spring with a degree in elementary education.
Great.
So she plans on being a teacher. My sons are both more technology bent, and so one is a technology coordinator, and the other is working on a degree in technology security.
Do they all like animals?
Yes, they all were in 4-H and all showed hogs at the fairs.
Good. And you're a grandma?
I am a grandma. 2 lovely grandsons, 5 and 7, and I just
Do they like animals?
They love animals. We would have animals all over the place if I let them. I have a chinchilla and 2 dogs currently, and so they love feeding the animals and visiting, yes.
Wonderful. Well, Becky Meyer, we appreciate your service, your leadership, not only at the Academy for Science and Agriculture, but on behalf of other schools throughout the state, the impact that you're making and the national contributions, and we're very pleased that you have made a home in Oakdale as well. And I might mention you've been involved as well in extension programs through the county and a variety of other activities, but we don't have time to talk about all that, but you are certainly all about helping people, sharing, giving back, and thankfully your passion can translate to your profession as well. So more power to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
And if you'd like to share the phone number for the school, if anyone would like to call, they can check the website, but the phone number for the school?
Phone is 651-209-3915.
Great. Thank you, Becky Meyer.
Thank you.
And viewers, I encourage you to check the website out for the school or give Becky a call if you'd like more information. And if you'd like more information from me or have a question, give me a call. My cell is 651-770-0283. For Your Capital What's Up, I'm Chuck Wiger. Thank you very much for watching. Great.